Hey
everybody, welcome back to the Bret Lueder Show. This is episode 102. I have with me Shahrokh Zadeh. We are just in the middle of a fascinating conversation about ancient history and how many ancient structures are aligned and strategically built upon certain places of the earth, and how that relates to uh, we were just getting into talking about Mars, so how it relates to other planets, maybe other stars like the sun, how it relates to other subjects. We're going to get into some other subjects in this conversation, including what hopefully we can get to, and talk a little bit more about your lecture coming up in LA, April 4th through 6th at the Alien Event, www.alienevent.com, at the Sonesta LAX Hotel. And that's the Rendlesham Forest case, the UFO case, also known as Bentwaters. And a fascinating case. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But Shahrokh, welcome back to the show. Always appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me again.
You got it. Let's just kind of pick up where we were. You were talking about some fascinating stuff about Mars. Are there any other planets that you know of that maybe this work applies? Or is it just Mars?
Uh, yes, actually, as a matter of fact,
Okay.
yes, but let's put that for another session because if I start talking about it, it will take a lot of time. But for example, the creatures that hit Moon, they don't just randomly hit it. There is a mathematical form or law in between that attracts those actually rocks from outer space towards Moon, and eventually they will adjust themselves with that angle and with the speed, and they will hit Mars. Mars has the largest crater on it, which I forgot the name, but that's the largest, and that is interestingly, uh, it has the same coordinates at the Bermuda Triangle, and also it has the same coordinates with the Jupiter's red eye and uh, and the dark actually what's it called, the dark storm in Saturn and in Uranus. So those storms, they don't just happen over there randomly. It looks like they're all related. What I'm telling you has been published in 2000, not published but copyrighted in 2009 when I came to the United States.
Okay. Yeah. Again, I'll just say check out some of the work of Richard Hoagland and hyperdimensional physics, which he got from Colonel Thomas Bearden. I did a little writing about that in my first book. Uh, it's going to enhance what you're doing and thinking and probably lead you in new and wonderful directions. Okay, so
Perfect.
you've got a bachelor's degree in solid state physics and a master's in management information systems. What
Yes.
first tell me what solid state physics is, and does that relate to management information systems?
Uh, Not directly, but indirectly, yes, it does. Solid state physics is a physics focused on the solid form of an object. So
Okay.
we have gas, we have liquid, we have plasma, and we have solids, right? So although we have general courses that we took and we passed, but there are some focuses over there on mostly, yes, capacitors and other things that in electronics is useful now. And this all came from solid states field. The CPU in a computer, for example, is another example of this solid state physics, how they work, transistors, and yeah. So how does it relate to management information system? Is the computer is actually the father of the computer, I can say, is solid states. Besides mathematics and other things, but one of the actually main scientific field that works in the field of computer is solid states. Without the electronic components, we could never come up with these circuits and the CPU and the RAM and other parts, mouse and monitor of a computer device, right? So now we have this system, it's called computer. Somebody created that system. Eventually, it's been developed. But I chose management information system because I think the future relies on our data, the data that is been spreading around the world. So we have a lot of numbers, we have a lot of data going around, and somebody has to sit down and analyze them. And so that's where the data analysis field comes up. And it was a fascinating topic. So I picked this course, this field to study for the future and to touch base in the main things about the computer that's coming up, like AI and the data analytics and the cybersecurity. So I liked it.
Okay, well, it sounds like you got the hardware end of it with the solid state physics, and then the software end of it with the management of information system. So that's very well rounded. Okay, interesting. All right, so you've got another couple books out. A method to predict significant earthquakes. How does your work predict earthquakes?
Well, it did. As a matter of fact, to my surprise, it did. Because I sometimes come up with something, but I don't know if it works or not, right?
Sure.
So then I wait until to see the result. And sometimes it doesn't work. So I go back and adjust myself, my calculations or whatever.
Right.
And in this matter, I came up with a method to predict one significant earthquake in 2012 by using a mysteryology method.
Okay.
So I put things together and integrated them to come up with it. So this is what I did. Very easy, very simple. If I want to just wrap it up in a few minutes.
Sure.
The largest earthquake in that year, in 2009, I think, it was in Japan. Okay, it was very harsh. It was in northeastern part of Japan in the Pacific Ocean, very close to the shore. It caused a tsunami, great tsunami. And the effect of the tsunami was so big that it reached to even the South America continent in the western coast. It reached to California and many other places. So I was sitting home and I said, okay, how come we have hurricanes that they're seasonal while we don't have earthquakes that are seasonal? Good question, right? I thought that maybe earthquakes are also seasonal. So I said, okay, if it's seasonal, then I have to go back to see what happened last year. So I picked this largest earthquake in 1 year, which was Japan. Then I went backwards. Okay. Oh, sorry. I was studying about that. I went backwards multiple times. And then I came up with the idea that there might be another earthquake coming up very soon. And I just looked at the numbers and it was the same night. I said, oh my God, in these days, I should have another earthquake. So I remember it was the middle of the night. So I opened my laptop. I went to news to USGS to see if I can pick up the latest earthquakes and to see what happened. And to my surprise, there was a shocking news everywhere talking about the Haiti earthquake. And although it was a little bit less in magnitude-wise, less than the Japan earthquake that happened the year before, but this one, from one side, I was so upset about this event because I saw a lot of families and a lot of that they lost their family members. I saw a lot of cries. I saw a lot of actually damages in the city of Haiti over there. But from the other side, I was so surprised about my research that how come I came up with this? What if I could predict in the next earthquake? So it encouraged me, and it was a very good motivation for me to continue my research. So then I started going backwards. I put the largest earthquakes of the years in a chart. Okay, when I put them in a chart, I found out multiple things. First of all, my chart was based on the magnitude and the time. Then I found a good graph, a very smooth graph that gave me a pattern that when and how big would be the next earthquake.
Really?
So, interesting. Very, very simple and interesting. I came up with that in like few days, I think. So then I started putting up my map and I pinpointed those locations. Okay. Yeah. Now here comes the strange part. They were almost on a straight line with the same distances. So pay attention. I picked one earthquake, the largest earthquake in the whole year. Okay. And that was Japan earthquake. So the angle of that the Earth with the sun was a specific angle, right? In Earth is rotating around the sun, but not in a circle way. It's a little bit elliptic, okay? That's a specific angle. Almost the same angle, a little bit like few days off, there was another earthquake, a big one. As a matter of fact, that was one of the largest one in that year, which was Haiti. So I went backwards. As much as I had access to the data from USGS, I went backwards. I think I went like about 7 of them. So I put these 7 big major earthquakes in a graph, and I showed them that they had a very smooth, actually, graph. Okay, there was the line that helped me to predict the next time and the magnitude of the next earthquake. So the time that I came up and I wrote down was around March 20th. Then when I looked at the map, I saw that it's on a straight line almost, except one earthquake that was down in New Zealand. The other ones were on a straight line, and that line starts from Haiti, goes all the way to Japan. And the other ones are right on this line.
What do you think that means?
So that means that there is a line that on the surface of Earth, that these earthquakes were happening on that line with same distances, about 1,200 miles apart.
And there's no known fault line
along
that trajectory?
So I noticed that my wishes is regardless the fault lines, regardless the tectonic plates, and anything, all the magnetic, everything else. So it's only the coordinates. So it's the geometry involved. Only geometry on the surface of Earth. It has nothing to do with these tectonic plates or the ring of fire or anything else. Okay? So, but that's not the exciting part. The exciting part, 2 things. First, the longitude of this earthquake in New Zealand.
Okay.
It's a longitude, right? It connects the South Pole all the way to the North Pole.
Right.
The longitude, if you go up, it matches with the other earthquakes.
Okay.
Somehow, it looks like they made a mistake. The universe made a mistake in the mathematics and put a minus instead of plus. So the earthquake happened in the southern hemisphere instead of happening in the northern hemisphere. So it was mirrored by the equator somehow.
Interesting.
Very, very interesting. I have that map, but I don't have it right now in front of me to show you.
Okay.
So I said, okay, that's a very, very exceptional situation, but the rest are all on that line. Now, what is exciting is this. March 20, and I found that like several months later. March 20, there's going to be an eclipse happening on Earth. Okay. This eclipse has a path. Now, this is the jaws dropping point. The path of this eclipse that's happening on March 20th was exactly over that line of earthquakes.
Interesting.
From Haiti all the way to Japan and a little bit stretched. Now, here comes the Bermuda Triangle. This line here that Haiti is, this line reaches to the southern part of the Bermuda Triangle. In the other side of the world, it touches the northern part of another triangular area, similar to the Bermuda Triangle, but larger, which is called the Dragon's Triangle.
Right.
So that is near Tokyo, the northern part of it. Okay, that's another book that I'm writing. This is the 3rd book that I'm already wrote, like about 500 pages of it, which I need to narrow it down because it's a lot. I might split it.
That sounds like
so. So that one. So there's an alignment, not on a straight line like the ley lines, but there's an alignment between the southern part of the Bermuda Triangle to the northern part of the Dragon's Triangle, and it's matches with the earthquakes on Earth with the same distances. It also matches with the eclipse, which is the mechanical movement of sun and moon, sun and earth and moon, the way they dance in the sky. So this is a breakthrough. That means that sun, moon, and earth are somehow rotating in a specific speed and in a specific formation that causes these earthquakes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why I came up with an idea that there might be a specific force. And I called that force Sha'Z mystic force. Is a hypothetically speaking, it is a hypothesis that I came up with and is written in my second book, which is the Sha'Z mystic. It's in the last chapter of the Sha'Z mystic lines and areas. I don't know if you can see it or not because of this. Oh, here we go.
There we go.
Okay. Yes, it's in the last chapter. And so I put it over there, very raw form of my information about this, how it works and how this energy works. Okay. As you can see, it's based on nature, it's measurable, and it's repeatable. So everybody can sit down at home, pull up the tools and measure it and come up with the same numbers, the same conclusion. So that's why my method of study, because it's based on nature, nobody can deny it. And because it's measurable, and because of I can use the different principles of science, it's also undeniable. So it's very, very strong and solid.
Okay. You know, a lot of what you describe reminds me of the study of ley lines, or the energetic grid that mystics and ancient adepts say lines the earth. Some people think they're the blood veins of Mother Earth. Mathematician Rupert Sheldrake calls it the morphinogenic field, that it's kind of like a subspace kind of skeleton of the earth. And so a lot of what you described reminds me of that. So someone you might not be aware of, Captain Bruce Cathy from New Zealand, tracked UFOs and realized that there was a grid that they were forming. And then he brought forward some math that he calls light harmonic math, projected that grid around the world. And a lot of ancient structures are on that world, kind of similar to what you're describing. So I'm not sure if you're actually describing ley line, or maybe you're describing ley lines from a new perspective, but you're also starting to delve into the UFO field as well too, by applying your research to the very famous Rendlesham Forest case, aka the Bentwaters UFO Air Force Base case in England. Can we talk about that a little bit? Give us a little preview of your talk coming up in April.
Yes, I remember years ago that I was very fascinated by the ley lines, and I found some actually books, and I started reading them, and some videos. Not many YouTube videos was available in that time, so probably it was like about more than this 5-6 years. It was absolutely before the COVID, absolutely, like about 4 or 5 years before the COVID. So it fascinated me, and I was going to the libraries trying to find some books regarding ley lines and things like that. But what I found is that the ley lines that is more described, I think it was in 1920 or something around that, that a gentleman actually in Europe, in England, actually came up with that term ley lines, because he found that by looking at the map and pinpointing the monuments and the temples and pyramids, he found out that they're aligned in one line. Okay. And so he was very surprised. And like that was actually the old version of ley line. Recently, I see that people are talking about energies and it's paranormal activities and portals of UFOs and things like that. It looks like it's been shifted from what it was before, the initial thought of the ley lines, to the modern thought of the ley lines. It looks like. I'm not very expert in that. It's not, I'm not studying very well or deep in that one. But they're talking about places like Machu Picchu and how it's aligned with the Great Pyramids of Giza. They came up with some amazing, amazing relationships. Okay, but don't forget that Machu Picchu is there are two things in Machu Picchu that's important. One of them is the Machu Picchu city and the structures and how they went up on the mountain and they built those things amazing, the stones and how they put them together. The other thing is the location, which is a mountain. That mountain is a specific natural landscape in my research. Okay. So the two things align at the same time. We have a lot of these kind of cities that they're in a specific location. One of them is Easter Island, for example. The Easter Island, if you look at the map, it's right. There are three volcanoes over there, and the map of this island, it looks like a triangle, a right-angle triangle. It's very easy. Just draw a line, connect these the center of these volcanoes, and you will see that right-angle triangle over there. Okay. Right triangle. But what I found is that there is a relationship between the Easter Island and Machu Picchu that nobody knew. To surprise you, I'm going to give you one of them. Okay. Easter Island is exactly in the same longitude as the Skinwalker Ranch in the United States. How cool is that?
Very interesting.
So the longitude, if you come up, you will reach Skinwalker Ranch. So do you see the relationships now? Okay. So I looked at it with more like in three perspectives. My method is looking at this ley line that I came up with, is touching with, what's it called? These three areas, some historical sites, and some natural landmarks, and some unexplained incidents or events, like Roswell UFO crash, for example.
Right.
Okay. So I put these three together, which are undeniable. Okay. And it's something that happened. I have the coordinates and the incident happened there. And I was looking to see if there's a specific phenomena that caused that incident to occur. And that specific phenomena can be related to the Sha'Z mystic force that is related to the alignment of the planets. Okay. So as you can see, I have geometry involved, I have mathematics involved, I have history involved, I have ufology involved, I have astronomy involved in my research, and many more. And geology involved, seismology involved. And so it's, my ley lines are a little bit, the base of my ley lines are a little bit different than the base of the other ley lines that people and researchers are working on. Right. But there's some parts that they are related to each other.
So can we circle back to Bentwaters? So is Bentwaters on one of these lines, or Rendlesham Forest? Is that on one of the longitude lines?
Well, yes and no. Why yes? Because I found specific lines in the United States, in the northern part of the United States, from Bridgewater Triangle area. That's another mysterious area in the United States, and it's on land, and it's small, it's near Boston. You can Google Bridgewater, one word, Bridgewater Triangle. And fascinating stories are happening there. Hitchhikers, UFOs, giant snakes, and hunting houses. And then the other mysterious place in the United States is the Lake Michigan Triangle. Okay. And it's in the middle of the United States, right? But it's on the ocean. It's in the ocean over there, in the Lake Michigan.
Lake Michigan.
And that's a little bit larger than the first one. And then the third one is the Nevada Triangle, which they don't talk much about it. It's a very mysterious place. And the reason I like Nevada Triangle is because I live there. It starts from Las Vegas, goes all the way up to almost Reno, which I found is a little bit higher than Reno. And it goes to California, to Fresno. Okay?
Interesting.
Very interesting. And so the lowest part of it and the toppest part of it, if you touch these two lines all the way to Bridgewater Triangle, the Lake Michigan Triangle fits in the middle right there. It looks like they have the same proportions. Okay, the ratios are the same. The distances and the ratios is fascinating. So I came up with an equal distance policy over there, or rule over there, or mathematical rule over there, that it looks like there are segments of 400 miles in between. So very interesting. And the Skinwalker Ranch is exactly 400 miles away from the center of the Nevada Triangle. And the Sedona vortex is 400 miles away from the Skinwalker Ranch. Look at this number, 400 miles. So interestingly, another one, this Devil's Tower in Wyoming is also 400 miles away from the Skinwalker Ranch. So you can see how numbers and angles are related to each other. So they create a line, and the centers of these three areas create a line, which I called Shaw's principal line. And this goes all around the world. So this is one of the ley lines that I found. And it's related to this Sha'Z Square that I was talking in the Middle East. So you can see how now this map is revealing itself, the interconnections between these mysterious sites, the nature, and some, what is it called, unexplained incidents that's happening.
Okay. Well, so, it's really fascinating. What do you think it means? Is this just part of the geometric structure of the Earth that these things happen? Is there something spiritual going on? What?
So very good question, because it took me years to come up with at least an answer, a hypothesis for myself. It looks like the alignment of these planets, not in a straight line, different angles. They have formations. And when they come up with those formations, there are forces, which I call Shaw's mystic force, appearing in multiple places on the planet of Earth. Not just one place, it happens in multiple places. Sometimes they are constantly there, sometimes this force is moving. When that force appears, okay, it causes a specific natural phenomena appearing in that area that our ancestors somehow found it and confronted with that and measured it, and they decided to build their monuments or their city in that location.
Right. Fascinating. It just keeps coming to mind. Definitely want to study Richard Hoagland and hyperdimensional physics. I think he's got his website, enterprisemission.com is definitely something that you'd want to, take a look at.
Yes.
Because many researchers throughout history have come up with a theory of energy and described it in their own way, like Wilhelm Reich with orgone, or maybe the mystics from China talking about qi. So I'm fascinated by your take on this, because for a few reasons, but one, because you might be describing something that other researchers or mystics maybe have been describing in their own way throughout history. And so if you're adding a fresh perspective to that, I find that absolutely fascinating. And it's definitely worth more time to get into that research. Okay, so Rendlesham Forest incident happens. Is that an expression of this energy? Just give us briefly, you don't have to give all your secrets away, but for the lecture coming up, you've teased us significantly, I say, but is it an energetic expression, Rendlesham Forest, that incident? Were the ETs there collecting that energy? Was it just like a kind of a happenstance kind of a thing where they were visiting that site that just happened to be on a military base? What's your take?
That was a long time question for me. Why there? Just easy. Why there? Okay. Why those people? So the first thing you want to know, or what I was thinking, is that what's the most advanced vehicle that we have, technologically speaking? We have, for example, for transportation, we have like airplanes, right?
Okay.
For commercial transportation, okay? So what does a pilot do before it takes off? What is he worried of? He's worried about the wind. He's worried about the sight. He's worried about the engine. He's worried about these kind of things, right? These are the things that the pilots worried before, or the captain of the airplane worries before it takes off. He doesn't want to have to collide. We recently saw a lot of disasters recently because of the mistakes, right? And we are human, and we have like in average like 5 to 10% mistakes, human error. So we don't want to have those mistakes. So we rely on our machines. And our machines have mistakes according to the nature. Okay, have that in mind. I'm going to bring up something later.
Okay.
So if you are a pilot, you want to make sure that your starting point and your end point is clear and safe. Your destination is the path, the route that you go, the altitude, everything is safe. So what if, but we were not like that, like about 100 years ago when the Wright brothers invented the plane. They just worried about the wind. That's it. Maybe a few more things, not as advanced as we are today. Okay, they were not concerning these things that we concern these days. So what will happen in 100 years, 200 years, 500 years? So if there is a UFO, an object, and if that object is so advanced that we cannot defy that by our actually understanding of physics today, if that UFO exists, if that UFO has an intelligent biological entity controlling it inside the vehicle or from outside the vehicle, like a drone, okay, there are some things that they concern. What are those things? Is it the wind? Is it the gravity? Or is it the multiplication? I mean, is it multiple things of these ones? Okay, so I try to look at it from the perspective of that intelligence being inside the UFO, okay, inside that object.
Sure.
Okay, so when you are there and you find a location and you just land over there, there is a reason they found that location. So I tried to look at that. Did they come over there to say hi to the sergeant over there, to the commander, Mr. Holt, or to the officers? No, for sure they didn't come down over there to say hello. We missed you. No, definitely no. Okay. So they were looking for something. So that's what I did, and that's what I'm going to reveal in my in my speech today. But just to let you know, it's way more than what the stories are, what people are talking about, what other scientists have already found. I have the best books about the UFO incident of Rendlesham Forest. I met Mr. Holt. I met the surgeon over there, the officer who went. So I read their books. I met Mr. Mr. Nick Pope. I met him and I spoke with him, and so like that. So there's a research that I'm doing for a long time, and it's coming up. And I think I'm trying to publish that book before the event. If not, it's going to be after the event for sure. I'm going to publish that, but I'm going to reveal what I found in some of them in the what's it called, in the convention, in alien events.
At the alien event, that's right. www.alienevent.com. You're online with an array of speakers, including yours truly. You know, there's definitely been some controversy with the Rendlesham Forest case. Peter Robbins, who wrote the book Left of Eastgate, big, thick, like 600-page book about the incident, believe had kind of a falling out with Halt. And that may be worth looking into for your own experience and benefit. And there's also another researcher I want to point out for you. His name is Steve Canada. And Steve Canada has done some really interesting work with sidereal mechanics, meaning the location of certain structures or maybe incidences on Earth in relation to planets and stars. And so it's just, I'm really excited to follow you along and see what your developments are, because you're touching into so many different areas and people that you could possibly collaborate with who've done similar work but different, and you may be able to enhance their work, they may be able to enhance your work. And so I get really excited when I see someone such as yourself that it brings all that to the table and thinks outside the box. So is there anything else you can say about your lecture coming up in April? And we got about 5 minutes left.
First of all, I appreciate all the people that they are putting this this event together, because it's hard to find these people and manage it. and bring
Right.
everybody together in that area. And with the disaster thing happened recently in Los Angeles, that can be a little bit break for the people who were worried about the incidents, the fire, and
I
everything.
hope so. Yeah.
I hope that will just give them a little bit recess time. Okay, but the thing is that the one message I want to give to everybody is that follow your curiosity. There is a reason the question came to your mind. It didn't come to other people's mind. So just write it down and also write the time because it might be related to the alignment of the planets. It might be related to astrology. And anyways, so follow your dreams and follow your curiosity. That's my message, one of them. And the thing is that I'm going to be there in the in the alien event Cosmic Command in 2025, April 4th, 5th, and 6th. I'm going to have a booth over there. If you have questions, if you want to talk to me in person, I'm going to be there. And I'm going to have two speeches. I think one of them is on Saturday, the other one is on Sunday. And you can join me there. And I'm going to reveal a lot of things that as much as I can. If you cannot join in person, no worries. There is a online portal in the website that you can go and click and get a ticket to actually join online virtually.
That's right.
So don't miss these opportunities that you have. Just take advantage of it as much as you can and quickly. Don't wait for the last minute. A lot of things might happen. Okay. Yep. So other speakers are also going to be there. It's not just me. We have fascinating people with fascinating stories and researchers, including you, Bret. Okay. I can't wait to see what you have to offer over there.
Thank you.
Because you did a great job the last time, and I want to continue that. Anyways, there are other actually speakers over there that they are researchers and they did a phenomenal job. Okay, so it's not just me. Please go and visit them and try to study what they're doing. And you might be the next person who can solve a big mystery in the world.
That's right.
Nobody thought about it. Okay, so hope to see you there. And also, I'm going to bring some of my books over there, the Sha'Z Mystical Lines and Areas, and the Sha'Z Square over there. But there's going to be a discounted actually form over there for everybody who wants to join in that time to get it physically or to get it online.
Wonderful. Okay, we got 1 minute left. Where can people reach you? What's your website?
Yes, my website is ancientmysteriesdecoded.com. That's my brand. It's been registered. ancientmysteriesdecoded.com. Okay. And if you go there are a lot of researchers over there, my books, and a lot of pictures and things that you can get information about my work.
And I also want to point out lots of maps. So you've described several things in these two parts of our interview here. But when you see the maps, the visuals really come forward. So kind of apologize.
Yes, it's hard to put everything together and create a soup of all these things, right? My research took about 30 years. I hope nobody expects me to deliver everything in like 40 minutes now. But when you, so I put them in, I sorted this information because I'm an instructor. I teach also at school and college. I teach college algebra and I teach conceptual physics now in one of these colleges in the United States, in Henderson.
What's it called?
I learned to put these things in a sort way, in a way that when you learn, you educate yourself.
And that's Las Vegas College? Is that a junior college?
Las Vegas College, yes.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. Shahrokh, thank you so much for your time.
Amazing.
I look forward to seeing you in LA, and more good conversation is on the way.
Thank you for having me. I hope I was useful.
You absolutely was awesome. Thank you, and have a great night.
Thank you. You as well.
All right, bye-bye.